is time for the news on Hope Channel, and to present it, my name is Annie Sakala. Our sign language interpreter is George Kalemokwa. The headlines. Cattle rustlers in Southern Province make distress call to government. Traders at regional trade market protest against management and favorable trading. Remote appraisal supervision and monitoring evaluation workshop meeting kicks off in Lusaka. Government remains committed to accomplish Vision 2030. These plus more stories coming up shortly.
My wife, bumper harvest. Eh?
Daddy,
I'm telling you.
your new fertilizer. Niamini.
Eh?
Daddy, my
Tell you.
Hello. My instructions.
I went to ETG, and now we are enjoying the benefits of using a blended decompound fertilizer as basil and Kynoplus as top dressing fertilizer instead of urea that we used last year. Now look here. This year, it has given me 4 tons. 4 tons. But last year, it was only 1.8 tons. Kynoplus has given all my crops the nitrogen that I paid for. Wow. It has saved me money. Telling you.
Understanding the difference between soil and crop-specific fertilizers, therein lies strength for Kynoplus blended fertilizers. More value in a bag. Available in the ETG depots countrywide, with a network providing agronomy services to farmers across the country. Kynoplus. Enhanced efficiency through innovation. A product of ETG.
Thank you for staying with us, and now the details. Choma Kalomo Farmers Association Farm Security Services representative Pierce Council made the call during the stakeholder consultative meeting held in Choma, called to find lasting solutions to rampant theft of livestock in Southern Province. Mr. Council says most commercial farmers have employed armed security companies to protect their livestock from criminals, engaging in stock theft by exchanging gunshots with poachers, resulting in deaths. And Chief Chikanta of Kalomo noted that stock theft is very rampant and affecting households negatively in the province. Meanwhile, Southern Province Fisheries and Livestock Coordinator Dr. Kawe Puta encouraged farmers to form neighborhood watches to help in curbing cattle rustling. Kalomo Member of Parliament Harry Kamboni called for reinforcement of the law, met out stiffer punishment for cattle rustlers. More in this report. Traders at regional trade market in Lusaka today protested against management over unfavorable trading policies. They say management has introduced policies that have been infringed on them. Traders said there has been frequent rent increments to amounts they cannot afford. They further denoted that they are being forced to pay a mandatory funeral policy fees against their will. Traders have also said the market has poor security measures, which is putting their merchandise at risk, and the ablutions are in their worst state. Efforts to agree with management have been failing, as management has decided to give them a deaf ear. However, management has refuted claims raised by the traders. Regional market president said, every decision management has made has been to the best interest of the traders. He says the payments that traders make are what management is using to facilitate the smooth running of the business. Traders are, however, not satisfied with the management's response. Mwene Muyanga gives us more in this report.
The moment was chaotic as traders of regional trade village market behind downtown in Lusaka could not come to terms with management. The traders say management has been making changes to their trading agreements without mutual understanding. They say rentals have been drastically raised beyond what they can afford, and they are being forced to make extra payments to cover funeral expenses for their fellow traders against their will.
Whenever we want to raise voices on the issues of how they run the market, they intimidate us. Yes. We try to raise the intimidators. They are changing rentals. They increased late last year. This year, they have already notified us. At short notice, they are increasing again. And again, in this market, there are lease owners and there are those who are renting. Lease, some of us are lease owners. We bought the shops, but still they are charging us monthly as if we are renting. And whenever they increase, they increase.
What these traders need is management to revisit the decisions it has made against them.
Understand that? So we called you people maybe because we are tired of being taken like kids. The point whereby the management, they make their own things, not communicating with us. Like, let's talk of lentils, let's talk of their things that just comes up from nowhere, and then they expect us to do it. And then if you don't do it, they close your shop.
Courtyard Properties Management Director, to which Regional Trade Village Market belongs, Mr. Davis Mwambas has refuted claims made by the traders, saying every decision management has made is for the betterment of the traders and smooth running of the market.
I think we gave 3 months notice. If the rentals, the increment of rentals, rentals were adjusted by 200 kwacha. That was, they were given about 3 months notice this year, and the effect is supposed to be on May. That's when they started to pay. We gave them 3 months notice. They have notices. They can show you. So it's 200 kwacha increment across the board. There's nothing wrong with that, because we can adjust it. Because see, I mean, the cost of doing business is very high. What do? We have to meet all the operation costs. So we have to adjust. Those who are able to afford, they can afford. Those who are not able, they cannot afford. That's all.
He said the marketeers raised issues after they were requested to remove tents they used to extend their shops in order to prevent fire accidents. Mr. Mwambazi said, since 2017, when the market became operational, this is the first time rentals have been increased in order to manage the cost of running the business. However, by broadcast time, traders were left unsatisfied with the management's response. Mwene Muyanga reporting for Hope News, Lusaka.
Ministry of Finance and National Planning Acting Permanent Secretary Irene Habasimbi says innovation related to new technologies are an important lever of development and is at the heart of the digital transformation required in all sectors. Speaking when she graced the kick-off meeting of the Remote Appraisal Supervision Monitoring and Evaluation RASME workshop held on Tuesday 18th April 2023 at Southern Sun Hotel. Speaking at the same event, Ms. Habasimbi said she is pleased and proud that the country is deploying RASME for the collation, storage and analysis of data using mobile devices. More in this report.
Solution for collection, storage, analysis of data using mobile devices, as it is going to be cost effective. I'm aware that the importance of data, including reliable data, accessible anywhere and at any time to ensure effective and efficient project management as well as decision making. Ladies and gentlemen, this solution is important for us for remote data collection analysis, which will help us speed project implementation, anticipate problems, establish transparency in the management of development of projects. This initiative is a key element in achieving operational excellence. I wish to invite and urge all of you, including the project delivery teams, to fully manage the banks with the bank's team so that this project can effectively be delivered and meet its targeted goal. I think it will be very helpful even for the country. Finally, I want to once again thank you and wish you good collaboration and participation in this workshop. That everything that we are going to do, we are going to use it as we go back to our offices. With these few words, I wish to officially open this workshop. I thank you.
Government says it remains committed to accomplishing Vision 2030. Speaking at the Zambia Stakeholders Dialogue on Business and Human Rights in Lusaka, Minister of Justice Mulambo Haimbe, in a speech read on his behalf by Permanent Secretary Legal Mwenye Walia, says government by 2030 aims to create a strong, dynamic, competitive and self-sustaining middle-income industrial environment for its citizens, which will be resilient to the external shocks and improve the well-being of all. She further has encouraged Zambian business owners to recognize the importance and value of human rights in order to improve economic development if Vision 2030 is to be achieved. And speaking at the same event, United Nations Vice Chairperson of the Human Rights Commission, Dr. Pamela T. Sambo, says countries including Zambia and independent business owners have the mandate to protect and respect international human rights to ensure both economic and industrial progress. More in this report.
Stakeholders, including the Ministry of Justice, the United Nations of Human Rights Commission, civil service organizations, and many others, gathered to carry out an introspection on the importance of economic growth and recognition of human rights. This gathering is termed Zambia Stakeholder Dialogue on Business and Human Rights. It is held from the 18th to the 19th of April 2023. Speaking at the event, guest of honor Minister of Justice Mulambo Haimbe, in a speech that was read on his behalf by Permanent Secretary Mwenya Tiwalia, has assured Zambians that government remains committed to achieving Vision 2030.
Vision 2030, launched 17 years ago, is a long-term perspective plan which aims at attaining prosperous middle-income nation status by 2030 by creating an enabling environment for sustainable socio-economic development. The Vision 2030 is founded on 7 key basic principles which include sustainable development and respect for human rights. Zambia's aspirations to become a prosperous middle-income nation by 2030 is reiterated in its 8th National Development Plan of 2022 to 2026, which was launched in 2022. The 8th National Development Plan envisions that by the year 2030, the country should have made significant progress towards ensuring that Zambians live in a strong, dynamic, competitive, and self-sustaining middle-income industrialized country which is resilient to external shocks and provides opportunities for improving the well-being of all. This aspiration coincides with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which aims to end poverty, fight inequality and injustice through the pursuance of the Sustainable Development Goals, and also envisages partnerships between the private sector and governments as a part of efforts to solve the world's development challenges. The 8th National Development Plan therefore provides an avenue for catalyzing the nation's response to addressing the developmental challenges over the period of the National Development Plan in a quest to attain the Vision 2030, SDGs, and other regional and international commitments.
In an emphasis, the ministry has encouraged local business owners to put at the core of their businesses the importance of human rights.
It is therefore imperative that states, including Zambia, ensure that businesses place at the core of their strategies and activities respect for human rights. Respecting human rights also entails that where the acts or omissions of business houses result in adverse impacts on human rights, those adverse impacts must be effectively remedied. Traditional philanthropy or corporate social responsibility in and of itself can neither suffice nor substitute for the responsibility to respect human rights that small, medium, and large businesses are expected by law to meet. Responsible businesses must, in every sense, respect human rights.
And United Nations Vice Chairman of Human Rights Commission, Dr. Pamela T. Sambo, has stressed out the need for countries and business owners alike to respect international human rights.
Internationally, the United Nations Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights, as endorsed by the United Nations Human Rights Council in 2011, are the cornerstone in the business and human rights legal framework. The UN Guiding Principles recognize that, in addition to the primary duty of states to protect human rights, business entities have an independent duty to respect international human rights. Following the UN Guiding Principles, there has been the proliferation of industry soft law instruments such as the OECD guidelines for multinational enterprises and the Equator Principles.
The event, which concludes tomorrow, is held under the theme Responsible Businesses Respect Human Rights. Reporting for Hope News, Piri Elesani.
The Center for Policy Dialogue CPD with other civil society organizations have made recommendations of various issues affecting the performance of government sectors which are being experienced in the New Dawn administration. Speaking during a press briefing in Lusaka today, CPD Executive Director Caroline Katotowe says the civil society organization will not relent promoting the depolarizing of government ministries by governments that run the country. Ms. Katotowe says it is sad to learn that the root cause of poor performance in government ministries is politics, hence the need to ensure that all ministries are run by professionals for the development of the country. She says the government has to put policies on the table and work on bettering the country rather than politics. Ms. Katotowe says CSOs has noted politics being put into play in the running of this current government, hence the need to voice out before the country goes to worse. She added that CPD, in partnership with FES and CSOs, have come up with a policy recommendation report that needs urgent attention. Last month, CPD and FES held a roundtable workshop with CSOs, political leaders and the media to review the performance of some critical sectors of the economy, identifying the root cause of the recurring challenges affecting the running of government. More in this report.
The Center for Policy Dialogue, CPD, held a press briefing today to inform the public about the findings of the roundtable workshop. Last month, the CPD, in conjunction with FES, conducted a roundtable workshop that saw the attendance of civil society organizations to identify the root causes of governance issues in sector performance. The CSOs are advocating for transparency, accountability, and professionalism in the running of government in order to improve the country's economy. Among the sectors that they brought to the table are agriculture, health, and energy. And now they have come up with a policy report that is encouraging professionalism and not politics. Lately, the CSOs have noted the poor sector performance due to a cadre-driven civil service instead of professionalism. For CPD, feels there is need to improve the energy sector.
14% rural population have access to electricity. Cost/pricing of electricity, shortage of power/load shedding, and how we arrived to critical load shedding, 12 to 24 hours, is one area that we covered as well. A major question one would ask would be, what were the promises?
The health sector and procurement should be depoliticized. There should be a bottom-up forecasting and quantification. So build capacity in procurement system and transparency and accountability in the procurement process. We do know now that the government is moving towards the EGP, so we do obviously hope that this situation can become better. Deploying of stock visibility solutions, branding of medicines as private or public, GRZ. So building capacity in local manufacturing, entrench professionalism, liquidate the historical debt and local suppliers, the need to curb corruption in the health sector, especially in the procurement process. Health is the lifeline of every country and everyone is a potential patient.
SACOT Executive Director Boniface Chembe says there is need to engage stakeholders in the recruitments and appointments of public officers in all institutions.
Stakeholder engagement and dialogue, and the need to be humble to admit mistakes or failure and accept there is a gap between what was promised and the current state of affairs, as it gives room for improvement, should be equally implored. The need to be sensitive to the recruitment pattern, regional appointments, such as Southern, Northwestern, and Southern, popularly known as the Zambezi region. For example, all three defense chiefs, until recently, not mistaken, three defense chiefs, the speaker, defense minister. This is against the UPND campaign promises, and it is also trickling down to parastatals and senior public offices of permanent secretaries as well as directors. The fight against corruption should be intensified and depoliticized of appointments and ZESCO recruitment.
Council of Churches Communications Officer Clarence Kaoma says there is need to let the Fourth Estate operate freely without experiencing political violence.
Blaming the previous regime for persistent problems is not part of the solution. Transparency and openness should be exercised when communicating with relevant stakeholders. A free and competent media landscape is a vital ingredient of a fruitful democratic discourse, which inspires formulation of good policies, and the public service needs to be depoliticized. It should not serve as a basin for political party cadres. Professional merit, competence, and institutional memory should be prime concerns. Public servants should be able to carry out their work without fear or favor.
And former Minister Faxon Shamenda says political manifestos are not romantic promises.
And continue with these programs so that that's the only way the citizens will be able to get their views across to those who are leading them, and at the same time to hold them accountable. Because manifestos are the promises which are made by the leaders when they are campaigning. Those are not love promises anyway. It's not a romantic promise. Those are serious issues which will affect the livelihood of the present, the future, and the destiny of our country.
The CSOs hope that government will work on the policy demands made in the report. Esnat Sikazwa, Hope News, Lusaka.
We now take a break. We have more stories coming up shortly.
Hello Pop Fighters, my name is Uncle Ivan, Pop Fighter Director from SID. I've got good news because in April, all roads lead to the Midlands West Zambia Conference Pop Fighter Campori in March, and I'm excited I will be there. Our theme says, Anchored in Christ. I hope to see you there, but don't forget, invite your friends, invite their friends, and including the enemies, because we are going to sit at the feet of Jesus as we anchor ourselves in who else but Jesus Christ. God bless you.
Zambia Hands-On Training Center is enrolling for May intake in the following skills-based courses: General Hospitality, duration 1 year; Power Electrical, duration 1 year; Plumbing, duration 1 year. We have invested heavily in diamonds and other stone cutting and polishing equipment, and so we offer gemstone cutting and polishing course, duration 2 years; Jewelry Manufacturing, duration 2 years; Computer Studies, duration 1 year; Food Production, duration 6 months. We also offer community-based short intensive training, which takes a period of 2 weeks in food production, deco, plumbing, and power electrical. Qualifications: minimum entry, grade 9 to grade 12, and for home-based training, no minimum requirements.
When you come to our institution, we are going to train you how to use your hands.
And we are right now open for May intake. We are calling upon all sections of society to apply.
For enrollments, download the forms on our website www.zhtc.org or email admissions@zhtc.org. We are located at plot number 11068, Ngwezi Road, Roma, Lusaka. Call or WhatsApp us on 0764 342104.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Southern Zambia Union Conference President Dr. Vani Muyumbwa has expressed happiness towards the just-ended Literature Evangelistic Kids Association Convention, which saw more than 16 candidates baptized at the close of the event. Dr. Muyumbwe said such gatherings are encouraged in the church as they serve as a platform for literature evangelists to pass on their knowledge in the ministry to the younger generation who will in turn further the work of the gospel. He said this when he officiated at the Southern Zambia Indian Ocean Division Literature Evangelists Kids Association Convention, which was held at King's Palace Academy in Lusaka, Zambia. And General Conference Association Publishing Director Pastor Stephen Apola described the convention as a success and was elated with baptized candidates who have been added to the church. Pastor Apola said he is confident that the newly baptized candidates will help to preach the gospel through literature, following the footsteps of their parents. Meanwhile, Southern Zambia Union Conference Youth Director Pastor Webster Silungwe said the baptized candidates are now fully ready for service and will be utilized them to work for God. Daniel Chilema gives us more in this report.
Only the first time in the history of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division Literature Evangelist Kids Association held a convention which stretched from 11th to 15th April 2023 at Lusaka's King's Palace Academy. The convention, whose aim seeks to motivate and nurture children of literature evangelists into service, was held under the theme Unwavering Faith. Leka Conference 2023 saw scores of literature evangelist kids gather to learn life-changing lessons in mental health, among other topics. Seventh-day Adventist Church General Conference Associate Publishing Director Pastor Stephen Apola graced the event and was privileged to baptize 18 souls into God's kingdom at the close of the event.
I am here to be part of the first ever convention to be ever done in this world for Literature Evangelist Kids Association, otherwise known as LECA. And because of the young people that have come here today, some of them, after listening to the messages, have decided to give their lives to Christ to become disciples in the waters of baptism. And this afternoon I've had the privilege and the pleasure of baptizing 16 young people who have started this life of discipleship. Spirit of Prophecy and the Bible counsel that it is important to help young people who have made a commitment for Christ to follow through with that commitment, no matter how young they are. Because from the Bible you read the story of the young boy Samuel, who the Lord spoke to directly, even as a little child. And so he was able to make that decision. And I know that these young people, because they still don't have too much of life and responsibilities, they are able to focus on Christ and to make that choice to follow him and to follow through. So we have baptized about 16 of them, as I said, and we are praying for them to continue to walk in this journey and someday be powerful evangelists, preachers, missionaries, even in the literature ministry work and other ministries.
Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division Publishing Director Pastor Nelson Simwemba told Hope News that he was overwhelmed with this year's attendance as it sits as an example and sets solid ground for future Literature Evangelist Kids Association conferences. Pastor Simwemba further thanked all unions in the division that responded positively towards this noble cause. And Southern Zambia Union Conference President Dr. Vani Munyumbwe, who was equally in attendance for Sabbath worship, showed gratitude to the SID leadership for putting together a successful Leka conference, which led to the baptism of 18 souls.
An LOE is a missionary, and our desire is that those who are growing up in the families of the LOEs, they can also take up their father's assignment and the assignment of their parents. So they were brought here together to be encouraged, to be sharpened, to be trained, as well as to be motivated and equipped. And from what we are hearing, it has been a very rewarding experience for all of them. As a matter of fact, we concluded with a baptism of about 16 of them. That is simply to show the message actually penetrated and they were reached. For those who were not able to come this time around, this is just the beginning. Next time that you hear there's such a meeting, we are appealing, try to make your way.
Meanwhile, Pastor Webster Silungwe reiterated that Pastors Kids Association and Literature Evangelist Kids Association will collaborate in a bid to further God's work.
Now, LECA is
has a great connection with Pakia. By LECA, we are talking about Literature Evangelists Association or Kids Association, while for Pakia, we are talking about Pastors Kids Association. So you see, there's an association for the pastors' children. And also now, the newly born one is the Association of the Literature Evangelists' Children. Now this is so exciting. In fact, I'm happy to say that I belong to both. I've got a connection from both sides. I myself am a pastor's child, I'm a pastor's child, and so I'm also the youth director of Southern Zambia Union Conference, who happens to be the Pakia coordinator or director for the association. So it means that publishing and youth ministries are really connected, and the Pakia are really connected. We need to work together. I want to emphasize the fact that this is really in order to bring the children of the literature evangelists together to enhance their spiritual stance in the Lord, for them to support the ministry of their parents as they take the books and literature into the homes and lives of different people who want to know the truth of God.
The conference ended with a handover ceremony of certificates. Daniel Chilema reporting for Hope News in Lusaka.
The Divine Trumpet Ministries DTM Music Group on Sunday celebrated the World Impact Day by distributing literature and helping the less privileged people in Chinyunyu. The group did not only share the written word, but also donated various items of goods such as 50 bags of 25 kilograms meal, 12 boxes of cooking oil, hampers, clothes, among others. DTM President Elder Maliti Solochi said they do not only believe in sharing the word of God, but believe helping the less privileged. Chimaluba village head woman thanked the group for coming to their aid and has encouraged them to continue helping others and less privileged people in their communities. The beneficiaries have also expressed joy for the gesture. More in the following report.
These are residents of Chimaluba village in Chinyunyu singing songs of joy after they received some donations from the Divine Trumpet Ministries DTM Music Group. The group donated assorted items amounting to 15,000 kwacha. The items include meal, 240 bottles of cooking oil, hampers, clothing, and many more. The Divine Trumpet Ministries president, Elder Solochi Maliti, now explains the sole purpose of the program.
Of mercy from God. And we know that as we do this, we have to encounter quite a lot. One, we are also assisting our friends. We are also offering love. We are also offering spiritual counseling, guidance, and we are also not just in that, we can also, where possible, we aggregate material, food, donations from people, and we come and distribute them honestly and faithfully to the underprivileged, not only the underprivileged, but the aged. We want to celebrate their life with them while they're on this earth. They should realize that they are still loved. In our society, when somebody gets old, they start getting accused that they are a wizard. We don't believe in that as divine trumpets. What we believe in is every human being was created for a purpose, and that purpose must be lived out as to see the love of God in fellow human beings.
Village headman and woman have thanked the DTM for their gesture, citing that they have never seen such as they only experience it during campaigns.
Nilipo na makolo, nilipo na bantu osiyana mkati mwa munzi. Mwamene mwachitira nikalibe nachiwonapo. Anga kale ku mipingo zinangu zitosiyana, libera ku mipingo zosiyana pati nikalibe nachiwonapo. mwamene nankalira ine kuti ndine headman mwakutu Chinyunyu side nakondwera maningi mwamene mwachita ba SDA kwa siku la lero niwonga zikomo kuti kuchita kwa so pitirizani na mulungu futi akwikire kuni masiku yosebenzera abantu osiyana edi chisaperere pamene apa
niyamika mapanga ntito yabwino shuwa mulungu amusokoleleni chisaperere pamene apa.
The beneficiaries have thanked the group for choosing their area and have encouraged them to continue spreading this gesture.
Tikuyamikani pa zonse zamene mwatichitira mpaso zonse zamene mwatipasa tikuti mpitirize zikomo.
The DTM manager Cindy Njolomba says the group has spent about 15,000 kwacha for this program.
Divine Trumpet Ministries, we were conducting a book distribution and community service in Rufunsa. I would like to itemize what we've distributed today. We had 30 bags of mealie meal. We had boom powder, boom paste. We had grown-up cereal that we distributed to the old people in Rufunsa district. We also had some cooking oil. And the total cost of the things that have been distributed today is 15,000 kwacha. We thank God for the spirit.
The team also shared pieces of literature as they commemorated the World Impact Day. Mebo Chitimbiti reporting for Hope News in Chinyonyo.
We have now come to the end of the news, but before we go, here's a recap of stories that made headlines. Cattle rustlers in Southern Province make distress call to government. Traders at regional trade market protest against management unfavorable trading. Remote appraisal supervision, monitoring and evaluating workshop meeting kicks off in Lusaka. Government remains committed to accomplish Vision 2030. Thank you so much for staying with us with the news. Stay tuned to Hope Channel, television that changes lives.